I wanted to get your thoughts on the last few months with your quarterback room and the dynamic. You had Phillip, you draft Jacob. How has Jacoby Brissett handled everything? His job has changed, and he's still a pretty big, important part of this team, it sounds like. I'm just curious, what have you seen from Jacoby?
Jacoby's been a true professional. Was it tough on him? Yes, no doubt. I had side conversations with him, talking him through it. Because it is a tough situation as a competitor that he is, and the expectations that he has on himself. But at the same time, he understands, the team mentality of, what it is to be, an important part of the team, which he still is. And he understands the situation. But, over time, as we held, obviously virtual meetings, he probably was a little less talkative at first, but then as he got going, and he began to develop a relationship with Phillip and everybody in the room, it's back to just business of a quarterback room. I know talking to Jacoby the other day, he said him and Phillip text all the time. So, they're already began developing a good relationship. I would say the quarterback room is pretty good right now.
They get along pretty well? Because that could have been an awkward situation, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. And, Phillip, he's a great guy, very personable. And, he's been good in that meeting room. And, he's been vocal. Jacoby's been vocal as far as just talking through football, the X's and O's. And there's been a lot of communication going on, but it's been pretty smooth.
All right, Joel Erickson.
How's it going,
Marcus? What were your thoughts on you guys getting Jacob Eason, and how much would you like to have the rookie be able to get your hands on him in person as opposed to just over the computer?
Well, first off, just getting him. It was great for us to be able to get that type of talent that late in the draft. Obviously he's still young, got things to work on. Does have a lot of tools with his size and his arm. And overall, he's been great. I've been on Zoom with him, a lot of calls, spending time with him, installing the offense with him. And he's done a great job. He's worked hard. He's asked a lot of questions, and he's picking it up. He's picking up the offense. He has been able to get out on the field and send me videos. He's actually which is good. He's in Southern California, and he's already had workouts with Michael Pittman and Desmond Patman. And he's actually sending me those videos. So I was able to give him some routes to throw to those guys, and they were able to go out there, send me videos. I'm able to coach him up, his drop, and things of that nature. So, we've been making do with what we can do virtually.
Kevin Bowen.
Hey, Marcus, appreciate the time. Obviously, the arm stands out about Jacob. What else really caught your eye when you started to look at him? And then Frank has mentioned footwork. Are there any kind of main fundamental things that you really want to work on whenever you can get your hands on him?
Footwork's always a big thing for quarterbacks. Just being consistent within their drops, having a good base in the pocket, following through, finishing the throw, aligning, to their target. And that just comes with reps. And understanding our offense and how that footwork translates to certain schemes in our offense. And obviously the arm strength is there. We got to work on the accuracy. What I saw in video when he was throwing with Pittman and Patman just not too long ago, he was hitting everything. So it's going to be good just to get him on the field and, see how he can continue to improve.
Mike Wells.
Hey, Marcus, how you doing, man?
How you doing, man? I'm doing well, Mike.
Hey, in this situation with Phillip, what is your role in trying to kind of get him caught up to speed and, as far as like the installs? Can you kind of take us through on how this is going about, considering, everything's being done virtually?
Yeah, well, it's been good. We've been able to spend a lot of time virtually on Zoom, with him and with the quarterbacks. The benefit, obviously, that everybody knows that he's worked in this system with Frank and Nick, and it's really the exact same system, different terminology on some of the concepts, but he's picked it up obviously quickly. He brings a wealth of knowledge playing this game for so long, not just in this system, but just football knowledge, quarterback knowledge, and experience. So The transition has been very smooth. He talks our language now as far as our vocabulary, in the system. And it hasn't really been a struggle for him as far in that aspect. So we've installed essentially the entire offense. We got another week or so left with the guys. A few areas that we haven't installed, but for the most part, we've installed probably about 90% of our offense.
George Breimer.
Hi, Coach. Thanks for doing this. What have you seen from Philip Rivers on tape from last season? What do you think led to some of the struggles that weren't characteristic of what he's done the rest of his career?
A lot of it, like we went back and watched, obviously the big thing, he threw a lot of interceptions. So we went back and watched every single interception. And a lot of those came in desperate situations. They were down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, and they're on 2-minute drives late in the game. So he was pushing the ball downfield, forcing throws because he had to, or else the game was going to get away from him. And I would say that was about half of them. Yeah. Are there some throws in there he probably shouldn't have made that they were just bad reads? Yes. But overall, the accuracy was still there. Watched him. He was deadly accurate. Still makes good decisions. And he just has a wealth of knowledge, and I think he's going to fit well in our system. And I think what's definitely going to help, and everybody is talking about, is our offensive line and is our run game. And so that will help him not have to sorry, my kids just walked in here. Can you guys please leave? So it's going to take some pressure off of him. I look at his last two games of the season, he threw it 100 times in 2 games. I was like, we're not going to ask that of him, to have that pressure on him where he's got to throw the ball. So we're going to be able to move the ball up and down the field with the run game. And it's just going to open up so much within our offense with the play action. And, they're going to have to stack the box. And if they do, he's got the arm. We put the weapons outside for him. So I think he's going to be surrounded with a lot of talent.
Stephen Holder.
Hey, Marcus. My knockoff internet had me late, so I hope I'm not repeating a question here. But, Frank told us, I guess a few weeks ago or a couple months ago, back when Philip signed, that was a complicated situation for Jacoby, and that there was natural disappointment there. And I know so much, or at least part of coaching is, dealing with managing personalities and egos. How have you handled that with Jacoby? He is very opinionated, and I'm sure he told you how he felt about it. Just how have you kind of handled that? Or did you even need to handle it, I guess is my question.
Yeah, just kind of let him vent a little bit to me, just be a sounding board for him. I understand the situation. Being a former quarterback myself, I was in that situation at a different level, playing in the CFL, where I would finish the season off the starting quarterback, took the team to the playoffs. I was originally the backup quarterback starter. He was done for the season. I ended up taking the team to the playoffs, and then we end up getting a new coach, and we come in the following season, and the new coach comes in, and just right then, and there's no open competition. The other guy's the starting job. He's the starting quarterback, and it was like, can I at least compete during training camp for it? But I didn't get that opportunity, and I share that experience, and you realize, as a football player, although you're very competitive, you want to be the guy, and some things are just out of your control. And at the same time, when those things are out of control, you still got to be yourself. You don't want that to change the type of character that you have as a player. How do you perform? How do you prepare as an athlete? You don't want to be a distraction because that's not naturally who you are. So you can't let the situation, bring you down as a person and professional player that you want to be.
Phil Nardiello.
Hey, Dave Griffith sitting in here as Phil Nardiello, sharing a sign-on name. But Marcus, a question about Philip and just his talent, or he's had success, I guess, in his career with the Chargers, dumping it off to running backs and letting them run. And I'm sure part of that is you have LaDainian Tomlinson, you have Darren Sproles there. But is that a talent that a quarterback has to have for to be able to find the running back in the right spot and, I guess, lead him upfield? Is that something that he specifically has that he's especially good at?
Yes, that's just knowing the offense to a T, knowing where everybody is on the field. And we drill that a lot in this system of knowing, okay, the intent of the play is to push the ball down the field here, but you do need to know where your check down is. And him knowing that, having the wealth of knowledge in the system of offense, of knowing whether the check downs to his tight end or the check down to his back, he knows where they are on every single play. So in case that as he is looking downfield, he may get pressured right away where he takes his eyes down the field. He knows in his mind, okay, my back's here. And he has a great job of finding the backs, making those tough throws, whether it's sidearm or low flicks that, tossing. He has that ability to still do that and find. And the thing is, to me, it increases a quarterback's accuracy, overall, the completion percentage overall, because whereas some quarterbacks, they may get into trouble, well, they're going to throw it away, or they're going to escape and try to run and scramble where he knows, okay, I'm in trouble, find my back. And he's going to get those easy completions. Sometimes it's going to pick up 2 yards. Sometimes they make a guy miss and maybe a 20-yard gain. Those are some hidden yardage that just helps an offense.
We'll do last question, Joel Erickson.
Marcus, we've heard from Frank and Chris now, but what has it meant to you to have the last 2 days have the team talk about the issues of racism and police brutality openly, coaches and players?
It's been eye-opening. You kind of have these conversations within your family when I'm talking about, your parents, your brothers, your sisters. This is the first time we really had, me personally had an open dialogue with that amount of people, but also such a, diverse room as well. You usually don't typically have those type of conversations with everybody. And so, it was very emotional in there. But I think that there's a lot of positives that came out of that situation. A lot of people were very understanding and learned a lot about, just what being a black man in this world, what they go through. Just being able to hear those different stories. I shared a story. Everybody shared a story. And it's good to hear that. Not that it's good to hear, but it's good to get out and understand that everybody's going through some issues. Everybody's going through a problem. To be able to, vent that out and then be able to get the response back from others, that they feel our pain and they want to be there and support. They want to help. These guys, the unique situation of the locker room is, you always have a diverse locker room, and you have that from growing up through Pop Warner, through high school, through college. We're used to being in diverse locker rooms and becoming a brotherhood in a sense there. Whereas a lot of people, don't have that locker room feel, that ability to communicate there. And because we have that, for us to be able to share our pain, what we go through, knowing that we count on each other, whether it's between the coaching staff or as players on the field, through work, our job security is dependent on how well we play, how well we coach. And then when we have struggles outside of football, to be able to lean on the same guys, it means a lot for us to have that ear, to have that support from them. And then definitely to have the support from Frank and Chris and the Irsay family. I thought it was a great thing to be able to, just stop football for the week and be able to discuss these issues. And I know it brought us as a team closer together, no doubt.
And we'll actually do one more, Zach Kiefer.
This question is far less important than the previous question, but Phillip Rivers' arm strength. Frank is convinced it's there, that he hasn't lost anything. I know you haven't seen him on the field this spring, but are you convinced as well?
Well, from what I saw on the film last year, he still was making the throws down the field. He still had big plays, whether it was a deep post, deep goes. So I think – and what he does is a great job of locating because of his accuracy, he's able to locate the ball where his receiver can go and make a play. He has that innate ability to be able to do that. And, I didn't see any drop of him not being able to push the ball down the field.